Hello everyone, Shinobi here, once again with another Awaken Kyocera video. So, I was at 13% pity and I decided to do a 10 pull. I spent all my diamonds to get 10 summons and I did my summon, and there you go. You must have seen what I got. Yeah, but that's not what I was going to talk about in this video, okay? I'll make another video about Rachel, about how I built her, about where you can use her. That'll be in a couple of days. But as for now, what I'm going to talk about is what you should not be building, okay? Which champions you should not be building, and I'm only going to talk about epics today. There'll be another session for another video for, Legos, which Legos are the best that is available, and which Legos you must completely disregard. Hey, before we move ahead with the video, I would request all my viewers to please like my video, share it if possible, but certainly do subscribe to my channel. I'm at 410 now. I need a little bit more, no, a lot more, to get to 1,000 subscribers to reach that monetization requirement of YouTube. So please subscribe to my channel. So today we are going to just talk about which epics you must completely disregard. So I'm just going to go to these areas. Of course, I did get my Rachel here. Now, if you look at all these epics over here, Holy Light Empire has got a plethora of really good epics. Okay, you got Williams. You must have seen my 10 best epics video. In that, William is rated pretty high. He is a really good hero. You can always build him, but I'm not talking about which you can build. I'm talking about which you should not build. Even though Ace has tried to buff these heroes quite a lot of times, according to me, Thomas is one of the worst epics that you can build in Holy Light Empire. If you have him, just ignore him. Okay, absolutely ignore him. Because he's a single target hero, and even though he has got pretty good kit, he has not been successful because there are much better heroes, much better single target heroes, and much better hard hitting heroes than what he actually is, right? He has got this defense down 2, only one of the few heroes that can place defense down 2, and yet no one uses him because it's very difficult to build a team around him, and I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about just one hero. So I'm just going to just briefly talk about all the heroes. But Thomas is very special for me because I had tested him out. I had ascended him completely. I got so many copies of him, and I had also I've got some spare copies of him as well, and I'm still not able to use him. Like, he can place defense down 2, he can stun people, he can counterattack, but yet he's not usable. You can't even use him in Guild Boss. Of course, if you do not have many epics, you may use him to get those extra turns, but at the moment I'm like, no, I'm not going to use him at all, right? And the next one, Chrysex, don't build him. I have tried to use him, but nah, not him as well, so don't build him. Hazel you can use, but as far as the other things are concerned, don't build Thomas. Don't waste your resources on it. Chrysex, don't waste your resources on him. Okay, these are 2 heroes that you should absolutely not bother unless Ace is buffing them up. In Chrysis, you got this Mogner over here. When you face him in Void Tower hard, he just keeps on, banging his spear on the ground or twirling it above his hair, and then goes and hits you, and then comes back, twirls his spear again, bangs it down on the ground again, and then comes and hits you, stuns you, keeps on doing that, builds himself up shield. But when you actually use him, it doesn't show the same ability. If he had shown the same kind of features that we can see when we are facing him in Void Tower, if he had the same kind of RNG in getting the stuns and getting the shield and all the other stuff, then I would have used him. But no for me, okay? Right now, no. Don't waste your resources at all. The only thing you will use Mogna is to synthesize your Bella. If you get him, use him to synthesize. Build him to 50 and then used for synthesizing. The other heroes, I will not say that in Chris as the other epics, I will not say that you should not build at all. No, I'll not say that, because they have some utility. Like I showed you a video of Bruzak having being used in Bounty Hunt stage 52. Okay, the other heroes over there has got some utility. If you do not have other epics, you can certainly build them, but Mognar is a absolute no. As far as I'm concerned, no. Okay, out here in Lasir, this is the guy, Hugh. He has got really good kit, you know, and Ace had tried to buff him up quite a lot of times. Okay, they did try to make him good, but not good at all as far as I'm concerned. Okay, there are plenty of reasons for it. So the ultimate of his, it deals 220 damage to an enemy. If the enemy's speed is lower than this character's speed, then grants damage reduction. Of course, he has got a pretty high base speed. Okay, but he's only dealing damage to one enemy. And what does it do? It grants him like damage reduction and ignores 50% of the enemy's defense for 2 turns, but he hits like a wet noodle. And his HP, his defense is so low that he can't survive even with that damage reduction. Yeah, no one uses him. Absolutely not usable. Okay, so don't build him. Don't waste your resources on Hugh. Just a matter of my opinion. I do not want to use him. I have built him up just to test him out, but yeah, not to the level of 60 or 70, but to 50 to test him out. Completely useless. The same goes for Kyle. Don't waste your time. This guy over here, Kyle, don't waste your time on him. Just don't waste your resources on him. His kit does look good. You know, he can mimic someone else, but again, it's just a waste of resource. He's not going to help you out at all. So don't waste your time in these two heroes as far as Lasir is concerned. But the others, of course, Scarlet, Trisha, and MSB and Vance, they are fantastic. Okay, you can use them in various areas, especially your Scarlet. You can use her in Tulpa. You can use her in No Man's Land. You can use her in Guild Boss. Great heroes. Here, they are all quite good. Okay. So Soul Plunders are like, you know, okay kind of faction when it comes to epic. Santis is a must-have hero. You must build her. This guy over here, Jabez, he's also good. Augustine, where is Augustine? Yeah, Augustine is also good. He's also a wonderful hero. As far as Andre is concerned, he's the counter for you know, what is her name? Geronel. He's the counter for Geronel when you're going against her in arena. So you can build her Andre as well. So these heroes out here in Soul Plunders, I'll not say that you should not build them at all. Like completely ignore them, no. It depends upon where you're going to use them. But the other guys, when I said completely ignore them, they're useless everywhere. Okay, so that's what I mean by completely ignore them. Okay, so that's for Soul Plunders. Out here in Sylvan Woodland, you'll have a lot of heroes that is completely ignorable. Okay, take the case Helma, just trash. Just ignore him. Just believe that he doesn't exist. Okay, I've been here for more than a year and they tried buffing him like 2 or 3 times. Okay, and still it did not work. So Helma, just completely ignore him. Complete trash, good for nothing. Period. Kane has got some utility. Arundel, early game you can use him, but do never build him more than 60. Okay, if you want to actually build him, you can use him in Guild Boss. I used him in Guild Boss for some time before I got my other heroes, but I'd say max up to 50 or 60. That's it. Once you get your other epics, just ignore him. Okay, but Helma, just imagine he doesn't exist. Okay, so the rest of them, they have some kind of utility, some places, but Helma has got absolutely no utility, nowhere at all. Out here in Titan Island, Lordek, don't build him. His kit looks very interesting. He might be able to counterattack, but you're wasting your resources on him. Period. Okay, so he's like, you know, deals 110% damage to all enemies and then removes 1 positive effect from targets. good for, you know, removing positive effects. Damage scales with this character's max health. Really, really good thing. You know, the ultimate is looks really cool. Removes all control effects from this character. When this character is affected by control effect, it restores 15% of max health and grants 100% chance to use an ultimate ability to counterattack. I'm sorry, I was reading very fast because I'm trying to finish this video as soon as possible, okay? Can be triggered once per round, okay? So this is his special, his passive. He'll counterattack if he gets a CC on himself, but he doesn't hit very hard, okay? Even though it says that it's based on max health, don't build him. Just ignore him. He's not usable. I have not used him. I wish I get some other heroes. Don't use him at all. No place can you use him. Myla looks, you know, interesting. You can use her to an extent, but I have not used her anywhere. I have tested out Epina. Again, you know, she was not very useful as far as this faction is concerned. Lodek and Epina you can completely ignore. Don't even bother to build them up at all. The rest of them have got their own utility in some place. In some areas, especially, you can see Hakrin over here, and you can see Aurea here. They are all like, both of them are quite good, especially Aurea in Arena. You can actually use her very well. But Epina and Lodrek, just ignore them. In free cities, the best epic hero that you can get, and that is Natalia, okay? But Natalia, Gajar, Jonathan, absolutely fabulous heroes, okay? Gajar is mandatory, required for you to beat Gemini Dragon 16 in under 30 seconds or under, okay? But other than these three, your starter hero, Zachary, build him only up to 50. After that, completely ignore him. He's useless after that, okay? Not that he doesn't... Of course, you can use him, but you're just wasting your resources after 50. So don't bother about him after 50, okay? Borden, he's an invincible guy, okay? He has got this invisibility kind of trait on him, and just treat him like an invisible person. Don't look at him. Don't build him. Useless. They try to buff him. They try to make him hit more harder. He just still does not deal enough damage to clear waves. He should have been clearing waves. He has the ability to do joint attack, but he still does not do anything. Don't bother. Don't waste your time on him. He's just going to be a strain or a drain on your resources. Don't use him, okay? And this guy is the absolute worst epic that can be there in a game, okay? Hardback is of no use at all. Nowhere. His skills looks very interesting, but his damage is absolutely nothing. Okay, if you look at his trait, I'm going to talk about his traits and his skills just because I consider him the worst epic that is there in this game. Okay, so he grants 9 rage at the start of the battle and +3 rage at the end of the turn. Over 5 rage amplifies this character's damage by 100%. You can see it's getting amplified over here. Max rage is equal to 9. So at the start of the battle, he's already amplifying his damage. So at the start of the battle, he'll be doing his ultimate, right? So he'll be doing his ultimate, consumes 6 rage, deals 190% damage to an enemy, plus 50% bonus damage to shielded targets. And what happens? Nothing. Nothing happens. Even though that should be like hitting and one-shotting people, nothing happens. So he's the worst epic that can be there in this game, and so he's even worse than Boren. So just ignore him completely. Don't even think about building him. Asrena, early game champion. You can get her easily. But as far as I'm concerned, build her up to 50 just so that you can finish off your areas if you get her. But other than that, no. If you get Zatlex and Hitoshi are like, you know, have got similar kind of skills. It depends upon what you think about how fast or what kind of resources you have got, and based on that you can build either of those two. Both are really good. Hitoshi and Zatlex are quite similar. The other two are quite new. I don't have them. so I cannot comment on their ability or their skills, and they are very new, right? So I'm not going to talk much about that faction, Dragon Scale Marsh. That's it. As far as the Visitors by Sea is concerned, all of those heroes over there are pretty useful. Okay, you can use them in one area or the other. Baki has got pretty interesting skill, and Hori also has got good interesting skill. It's not like you can completely ignore them. Okay, they can be used in some place depending upon how what kind of gear you're giving them, how strong you're building them. Based on that, you can use them someplace. So there are I don't say that in Visitors of Sea there are Visitors by Sea there are any epics that you can completely ignore. But as I mentioned, there are other heroes that as I said, you can completely disregard, believe that they do not even exist, and if you got them, just use them as food or for other purposes, whatever purpose you can do within the game, just use them for that. They are trash. But I would say that, even though I do believe they are trash at the moment, I would say do not completely banish them. Do not banish them unless but keep a copy of all epics. You never know when the game is going to update them, when the game is going to rework on them and buff them up and make them useful. So never banish any epic or a Lego. Never banish Legos. Don't even think about it. As far as epics are concerned, don't banish any of them unless you have got sufficient copies held with you, okay? Because you don't know when they are going to be buffed. But those are the epics that I believe are complete trash, and you should never build them up unless you get a confirmation that they are buffed and someone has tested them and seen their utility someplace. Then you can go ahead and build them. But otherwise, don't build them. Period. So that's it from me. What do you think about my opinion on the heroes that I think are complete trash? And if you think that I missed out on someone who are absolute trash, who you should not even look at, of course, if they have got some utility someplace, do not say that. You should think that as trash as well. I'm talking about heroes that cannot be used anywhere. Okay, absolutely anywhere, and therefore you should completely disregard them. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments. So until next time, peace, love, and blessings to all of you. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel.